We working now? All right. There we are. Okay. How you doing? When my daughter was about 3 years old, we were driving through this very large shopping center parking lot. And she's in her car seat in the back. And there was this lady in front of us who didn't seem to be able to make up her mind about where she was going, where she wanted to park. You know, she put on her left turn signal, then her right turn signal. Then she'd come to a complete stop, then she'd speed up, and it was driving me nuts. And I finally said, "Lady, make up your mind, will ya?" And then she turns off, and we continue on. And my daughter in the back seat says, "Daddy, I want you to know that I stuck my tongue out at that lady, but I did not call her an ass." So that's as dirty as we get in this program today. It's really an honor and a privilege to be speaking today before the AATH in Orlando. It's really great to be here. No, I'm a late bloomer. I became a first-time dad at age 52, and here's how it went. Those are my legs, by the way. Not bad for 52, right? So anyway, it goes on and on and on there for a while. Yeah, she is lovely, isn't she? But let me start at the beginning. This whole story begins when I met this beautiful lady in Chicago named Isabel. And Isabel was born in Haiti. At age 2, she and her family had to flee that island nation because her dad was a very outspoken critic of the government at the time. So he was about to be thrown in prison, so they figured, well, we better get off the island. So they fled overnight, took a plane to Miami, and then on to Quebec, which is where Isabel was raised for most of her childhood. She worked her way down to the U.S. She was very brilliant. She could speak about 5 different languages. She got her master's degree from Duke, and then she eventually moved to Chicago, and that's where we met. And it was sailing that brought the two of us together. I love sailing. She loves sailing on Lake Michigan there in Chicago. So I said she was very, very smart, right? She was also a college professor, and just like her dad. And also, she was a classically trained pianist. And on top of that, she loved the Beatles. She was a fanatical Beatles fan. She was in a band called the Cavern Kittens, an all-girls band that got invited to play at the Cavern Club, where the Beatles started in Liverpool. That's where she was performing, singing her brains out, playing her brains out, and I got to be her roadie. I carried her guitar around Liverpool. If you are a Beatles fan, you got to go to Liverpool. Great place to be. So we had kind of a whirlwind romance. It was exactly 1 year after we met that I asked her to marry me, on a sailboat, of course. And she said yes. She actually said yes. Don't know why, but anyway, she said yes. And we decided to get married, of course. We didn't want to have a big old wedding, so we got secretly married at City Hall there in Chicago. And our plan was to have a big party afterwards, you know, with our friends and family and just whoop it up. We also decided to have a baby. So at our advanced ages, we needed a little bit of help from science. So we're talking about fertility treatments. Isabel underwent the fertility treatments, and I had a part to play in this too, you know. I was at work and I got a phone call from the wife, and she said, "You have an appointment at the clinic tomorrow. You've got to make a deposit." And I said, "Well, your insurance is covering all the money, right?" No, not that kind of deposit. You've got to make a deposit. 10 a.m. tomorrow at the clinic. So I showed up at the clinic right on time, and I was greeted by this woman in a white lab coat who immediately started marching me down this long hallway. And I thought for a minute, is she going to help me somehow with this deposit, in kind of a clinical sort of way? We get to this room, and she unlocks the door, and we go in there, and she hands me this little, plastic container with an orange top on it. And she says, when you're done, take this to the first window on the right. Okay, first window on the right, got that. Okay. And then she proceeds to give me a tour of the room. She says, over here is the couch. Over there is a chair. Over there is the TV set. And over there a stack of magazines. Any questions? I said, no, I think I can handle it from here. So she was about to leave the room. She turned and said, I'll be back to check on you in about 20 minutes. Enjoy. So I locked the door, 3 times and sat down, turned on the TV set. No, nothing much happening there. And I picked up a magazine, started flipping through that. No, nothing really going on there. And then I noticed there's about a 3-inch gap at the bottom of the door. And I could see feet going back and forth in the hallway, click, clack, click, clack, click, clack, click, clack, right? And I heard this lady say, oh, Doris, are you going to lunch? Could you pick me up a turkey wrap at Panera? I've got a coupon for half off. Click, clack, click, clack, click, clack. All right, we got to focus. We got to focus here. Click, clack, click, clack. I heard another lady out in the hallway. Kelly, could you run a Xerox for me? Thank you, dear. Click, clack, click, clack, click, clack. Nothing was happening. So after about 15 minutes, I gave up. I put my jacket on. I grabbed that empty container, and I kind of snuck my way down to that first window on the right, and I put it on the shelf. And the lady in white kind of looked at me, kind of puzzled look, and I said, I'm just not in the mood right now, you know what I mean? So I drove home, and I get a phone call from the wife. So how'd it go? Well, let's just say there was a failure to launch. So I was told that I could make my deposit at home. All right, so I got one of those containers, and it was a success. Okay, so the only problem was I had to get this container down to the clinic in 1 hour. And we lived about 45 minutes away, so there was no time for napping or lighting up a cigarette. I had to get a move on, so I hopped in the pickup truck, and I'm driving down there, and I get it to the shelf on time. Whew, my job's done. Boy, wow. Where's my pat on the back? But anyway, a few days later, Isabel is pregnant, and it was great. We went out to celebrate that night, and just so exciting, so very happy. And then a few months later, we became parents. Our daughter was born 2 months premature. She weighed only 3 pounds, 5 ounces. She spent her first month of her life in the NICU, that's short for Neonatal Intensive Care Unit. And she was very, very well cared for, a lot of very professional nurses there. And then 28 days later, the unthinkable happened. My wife died. Cancer. It was discovered when she was 6 months pregnant, and it was too late to do anything about it. So she spent 2 months in the hospital, hooked up to a lot of machines, a lot of tubes, and a lot of wires. And she kept asking me to take her home. Please take me home. So I finally did, under hospice care, took her home. And 2 days later, she was gone. And those final hours, I kept holding her hand, talking to her about all the wonderful things we had done over the years and amazing places we had seen together. And I just kept telling her over and over how much I loved her. And then she took her last breath. And it was quiet, very peaceful, except for some Beatles music I had playing for her in the background. And I called her brothers, I called a bunch of our friends, and I even called a funeral home, and 2 guys showed up with their equipment. They told me to leave the room. I could hear a commotion going on in there, and then it was quiet. And then that low, rumbling sound of a industrial-sized zipper closing the body bag, zip. And I watched those men carry that body bag down 3 flights of stairs to a very large white van parked out front. And they looked at me and they loaded that bag into the back, just like another piece of cargo. They hopped in the van and took off and just left me there dumbfounded on the sidewalk. I didn't really know what to do. The only thing I could think of doing was going to see my little girl in the hospital. She was still in the NICU. So I had a friend drive me there. A nurse ushered me into a private waiting room. And then she brought Chloe out to me. And there she was. She now weighed 5 pounds. She was 28 days old. And I just held her against my chest like this, and I tucked her little head under my chin the way the nurse told me to. And then the nurse left. And I just started rocking her back and forth. And I said, "Sweetheart, your mom died today. She was very, very sick. Now she's up in heaven. But your daddy's here. Yeah, your daddy's here. And I made a promise to your mom that, that I would do everything in my power to take care of you. And I plan to uphold that promise." And then even though I didn't believe it at the time, I said to her, "You know, we're going to be all right. We're going to be all right. And you and I are going to have some great adventures together. We're going to be okay." And then the nurse came back. It was feeding time at the NICU, and Chloe had to go back. And I walked out of that hospital, and I kept on walking for a while. I walked to a friend's house nearby, and they let me spend the night because I just couldn't go home that night. It was right around midnight. I'm on the phone with a friend of mine out in California, telling her all about what had happened that day. And right in the middle of our conversation, I got this flash, this vision. Only lasted a few seconds, but it was Isabel. And I could see her, plain as day, my mind's eye. And she was floating through darkness. She was floating off to somewhere. And her arms were outstretched. Her hair was flowing back. Her eyes were closed, big smile on her face. And there were other beings around her. They were all traveling somewhere. And I'm pretty sure she wanted me to see this. She wanted me to see that she was okay. She was safe. She was moving on to a new place. She was finally free of all that pain and suffering she had gone through. And it gave me some comfort seeing that. It really did. So now I had a premature baby and no wife. And my employer of 9 years, NBC News in Chicago, said, even though my wife was dying in the hospital, he said, "You know, we're going to have to lay you off soon." So I had no job. So I was kind of numb. I was paralyzed. I really didn't care if I lived or died. In fact, I think dying might have been a lot easier. But it was that little girl of mine that kept me going. And it was with family and friends that pulled me through all that darkness. And here I am 13 years later. Thank you. So I had a lot of grief and a lot of diapers to deal with. My daughter was in preschool, and she must have seen that a lot of the other kids were being picked up by their moms and not by their dads. So we're driving home from preschool one day, and she said to me, "Dad, do I have a mom?" I said, "Oh, yeah, you've got a mom." I said, "Really? Where is she?" I said, "Well, you see, when you were just a little baby, your mom was very sick, and she died, honey. And so she's in a place called heaven." "Heaven? Really? Can I go see her?" "Oh, no, sweetheart. You see, heaven is a place that we go to when we die. And it's a nice place, but we just stay there, and there are no visitors." And then she said, "Daddy, where is heaven?" I said, "Well, we don't exactly know, but a lot of us believe that it's way up in the sky, above the clouds, way up there." And with that, she looked out the window up at the sky. A couple of weeks later, we're driving into preschool, and she said, "Daddy, do giraffes have big ears?" I said, "Well, yeah, they probably have big ears. Not as big as an elephant, but they've got big ears, yeah. So they can hear really good, right?" I said, "Oh, yeah, they can probably hear really good. So they've got long necks, and their head is way up in the sky, so they can hear what's going on in heaven, right?" I said, "I think you're right. I think they can hear what's going on in heaven." We're driving around a couple of years later, and she said to me, "Daddy, is heaven a real place?" I said, "Well, we really don't know if it's a real place, but we're really not sure." "Well, what do you think it's like up there in heaven?" I said, "Well, I think it's a beautiful place. I think it's just colorful and amazing and safe place and a wonderful place to rest." She said, "I'd sure like to go see heaven sometime." I said, "Yeah, I'd like to go there too, but we're going to have to wait a while on that." So we were at home. She was about 7 years old. We're at home watching a movie, and right in the middle of it, she says, "Isn't it interesting, Daddy, how we come down from heaven when we're born, and then when we die, we go back up to heaven?" I said, "Yeah, I never really thought about it. It's sort of like recycling, we just keep going around and around and come out as a new person. I don't know." And then she said to me, she was about 8. She said, she put her arms around me. She said, "Daddy, not that I want this to happen, but when you die, will you leave me some messages or paint a rainbow in the sky to let me know that you're around?" "Yeah, I'll leave you some messages. I'll come back as a beaver, and I'll crawl over to you, and I'll sit in your lap, and we can cuddle together. How about that?" "Oh, no." She said, "Why don't you come back as a horse, and I can come see you at that ranch in Michigan?" I said, "Yeah, come on down and see me anytime you want at the ranch. That'd be fine." She said to me one day, "My friend Mike's greatest fear is centipedes." And she said, "My greatest fear is losing you." And then she said, "I really wish I had a mom. Everybody else at my school has a mom, and I don't." And I was rummaging around her room one day when she was at school, and I came across this sticky note on the wall. I don't know if you can read that. It says, "I hope for a mom one day." So that's a lot for a little girl to be thinking about. So Yeah, I was dealing with a lot of grief and a lot of diapers and a lot of potty training as well. So yeah, potty training, that's a big deal. That, you know, for little kids to go from diapers to a little potty to the big game, the toilet, that's a big leap. My daughter called it the toilet. You know, sounds kind of romantic. It's like, I'm going to the toilet. But yeah, now traveling with a child is a challenge. But traveling with a child going through potty training, that's like an Olympic event. Not only are you carrying like a circus wagon full of stuff, but you've got the potty chair, you've got toilet paper, baby wipes, rubber gloves. And when a little kid says, I gotta go potty, they don't mean like I can hold it for a few minutes. They mean, I gotta go right now, right? So we've made quite a few emergency stops in shopping center parking lots, abandoned industrial sites, and even a church or two. And to take care of business, you know. So I got one of the fancy potty chairs kind of with the armrests and a slide-out potty in the bottom, right? So you pull that little pot out, and it's got a convenient handle on it. So you end up with like a giant coffee mug full of your child's whatever they've just done. So now what do you do with it, you know? So this is why God invented trees. So you find the nearest tree, and when nobody's looking, you just sort of, you know, fling it over there, and then you rinse it out. It's like fertilizer, right? So you rinse it out, you slide it back, and you're set to go. Now, my apologies to the Bass Pro Shops in Portage, Indiana, and also St. Anne Catholic Church in Warren, Michigan. We had to make a couple of detours there. I'm sorry for the mess, but anyway, it's been a while, so it's organic. It's probably all gone now. My folks live in Detroit area, and we live in Chicago. That's about a 6-hour drive, you know. So with a child with a potty chair, it's challenging. So on these long journeys, which we've made many of, I'm in the rearview mirror looking back at my daughter. You got to go potty, honey? Nope. You got to go potty? No. You got to go potty? Nope, don't have to go potty. So we're almost there at Grandma and Grandpa's house. You know, it's been a long journey. We're almost there. We're in suburban Detroit. We get caught in rush hour traffic, so it's kind of slow, you know. It's getting a little dark, and it's pouring down rain. And my little daughter says, Dad, I got to go potty. But we're almost, no, I got to go potty right now. But I got to go potty. Okay, number 1 or number 2? Number 1, phew. Because I'll tell you, even though 1 and 2 are next to each other on a ruler, they are miles apart in difficulty when it comes to the cleanup, right? Okay, so I start inching my way off the freeway, get off on an exit where I don't know where I am. I got to go potty. I know. So we pull in behind this abandoned office building in the back. It's pouring down rain, okay? So I stop. She climbs over the back seat, does her thing. She says, I'm done. Okay, so that's my signal to get to work. So I hop out. It's pouring down rain. I'm completely soaked. The minute I step out, I go to the back of the car. I open up the back door. I grab that potty. I fling it into a little ditch. And then I rinse it out into a downspout, this gushing water. I throw that thing back in there. I close the door, and I hop into the back seat with her. Whew. Oh, boy. I felt like George Bush on that aircraft carrier. You know, mission accomplished. Only problem was I couldn't get out of the back seat. Child-proof locks work really well when you don't want them to. My keys are in the ignition way up in the front. I can't get out. Luckily, I do yoga, so I'm kind of flexible still. So thank you. Get an applause for mentioning the word yoga. I like that. So I get my legs into the front seat like this, and I've got my hands in the back seat, so I'm now in the downward dog position. And she breaks into a song. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, then your face will surely show it. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. At least one of us was happy. We got out of there and got to Grandma and Grandpa's house just fine. So there are two things that young parents will encounter. Back me up on this. Two things are play dates and sleepovers. Play dates and sleepovers. Let me tell you, try not to do any of those. Okay? Sleepovers, nobody sleeps. Play dates, all right, so here, this was a terrible scenario. The schools were closed in Chicago, and this poor lady had to go to work. And so I ended up babysitting 4 kids for 9 hours. Yeah, and this is what happened.
So no school today in Chicago, and we are hosting a play date for a total of 4 kids. And this is the result so far. We're only into hour number 3. A little bit of that going on there. A little bit of this going on. Look at that. Oh yeah, artwork, cars, monster trucks, the Batmobiles over there. We even have a stuffed snake. And we have lots of stuff going on the table here. Yeah, isn't that gorgeous? That's a cheese stick, by the way, half-eaten.
So that's how that play. So avoid play dates if you can. Now, sleepovers, again, nobody sleeps, especially the parents. So I got talked into hosting 3 8-year-old girls on a Friday night. What else are you going to do on a Friday night, right? So they come over. The house is now wall-to-wall pizza, potato chip crumbs, cookie crumbs, slime, pop, juice, screaming, hide and seek, utter mayhem and chaos. So it's about 11 o'clock that night, and I said, anybody sleepy yet? No? Midnight. Anybody sleepy yet? Nope. 1 a.m. Oh boy, I'm getting tired. Anybody sleepy yet? Nope. 2 a.m. Anybody sleepy yet? Nope. And then this little girl comes to me in tears, and she says, I'm homesick, and I miss my mom and dad. She lived 3 blocks away. It's not like we're in Africa or something. I said, honey, it's going to be all right, okay? You're here with your friends, you're having fun, you're making a mess, and you're going to see your parents very soon. 3 a.m. Anybody sleepy yet? Nope, but Ava's got bumps all over her face. She had broken out in hives, apparently the slime. She's allergic to something in the slime. I said, hey, I got the answer for you. I got some Benadryl. Oh, no, I can't have Benadryl. I'm allergic to the dye. And she said, my throat's kind of tightening up, and I'm having trouble breathing a little bit. Okay, so I'm dialing the mom. Hello? Yeah, I get the machine. Hello? Yeah, your daughter Ava? Yeah, she's got hives and having trouble breathing, and the phone goes dead. No call back from the mom. It's now 4 a.m. Here, honey, drink some Pepsi. This will keep you awake and, keep you breathing and stuff like that, 5 a.m. I finally get a phone call from the mom. She'll be right over with the dye-free Benadryl. Who knew? So she comes over, administers the medicine, the girls fall asleep. It's now 6 a.m. I haven't slept a wink. I figure, well, might as well stay up and watch the John McCain funeral. So that was my sleepover experience. The girls slept till noon. I looked like a raccoon for like 3 days afterwards. So, so avoid sleepovers if you can. Now, my daughter and I, we've gone to a few places together. We travel around a little bit, nothing exotic. We've gone to this place a few times called the Great Wolf Lodge. Have you heard about this place? Oh, yeah, it's this ginormous hotel, just running wicked with kids up and down the hallways, screaming and yelling, you know. And the big feature there is this indoor water park. It is enormous. You see, where I come from in the Midwest, we don't let a little thing like 10 below zero stop us from riding down a water slide. We take it indoors. It's 85 degrees year-round inside. So the Great Wolf Lodge is a wonderful place. It's full of, it's got a lot of kids, and a lot of water, and a lot of waterborne bacteria. So it's a wonderful place to be. But another feature of the Great Wolf Lodge is like this casino for kids. It's a video arcade, really. It's just a sensory overload of noise and just ding, 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 constantly, right? Kids are running around back and forth. The parents are dropping at least $100, $200 on these silly, swipe cards so the kids can go nuts and play these games all over the place. The object of the game is to win all these like paper tickets that come out, right? And you take all those paper tickets at the end of the day, you take it up to the front counter and you get a rubber snake. Yeah, so we actually hit the jackpot one time.
All right, Chloe, you just hit the jackpot. How do you feel?
Good.
What are you going to get with your winnings here?
I don't know.
All these tickets. Look at this game. We hit the jackpot on this silly thing. Wow. Not a bad haul for you. You don't look too happy about it. The American way, folks. Hit the jackpot. Lined up with a rubber snake.
Yeah, so I won the Dad of the Year award that year for teaching my daughter the value of $1. You spend $100 and you end up with a 25-cent snake at the end of the day, so that's great. We were driving around. Actually, we were on our way into preschool one morning, and she said, Daddy, there are 3 words we're not supposed to say at school. And I said, really, what are they? She said, we're not supposed to say dumb, we're not supposed to say stupid, and we're not supposed to say God damn it. Good. Don't say any of those words ever, anywhere. So I dropped her off. I went to work. I came back in the evening to pick her up. She gets in the car. She's all excited. Daddy, I was a really good girl at school today. I didn't say God damn it. We're driving back from one of our many trips from Michigan. And she's in the back seat, and she says, now, Daddy, there's a word that is spelled S-L-U-T. Is that a bad word? It's a bad word. Is it like the worst bad word? Well, it's not the worst, but it's not a word you want to use a lot, you know. Well, what does it mean? Let's see, S-L-U-T, what does it mean? She's 4 years old. Okay, think of a lady or a man with a lot of girlfriends and boyfriends, and they kind of lie about it. Oh, okay. So I like to do a lot of imitations for my daughter. I'm not good at imitations, but good enough for, a little kid. So I do this really bad imitation of Jerry Lewis. And I simply go, hey lady, that kind of thing. And 3 years old, she's on the floor, right, in hysterics. If I could play Vegas with a bunch of 3-year-olds in the audience, I'd clean up, man. I'd sell the place out. So a couple of weeks later, we're at the grocery store. We're in the cart. She's in that little seat in front of me. And she decides to do her Jerry Lewis imitation in aisle 7. Hey, lady! Hey, lady! And all these women are looking at me like, how dare you teach your child such horrible manners? She was in an after-school program in elementary school. And she came home and she said, Dad, why do so many people do plastic surgery? I said, what do you mean? He says, well, there's this lady in my after-school program, this teacher, who had surgery on her butt. On her butt? Yeah. She wanted to have a bigger butt, so she got butt implants. I said, hold on a minute. You know, most women want to have they want to keep their butts small. Why? Well, she wanted to have a big butt, so she had surgery. And I said, how do you know that? Well, she said, well, last year, her butt looked kind of small. And now this year, her butt looks a lot bigger. So she must have had butt implants. I said, well, you know what? You don't need to get butt implants to get a big butt. You just need to eat a lot of donuts. That'll do it, you know. So she said, that's it for the donuts. I'm not doing that anymore. I got a real good lesson on armpit farting, the techniques of armpit farting one night. She's going around the house, you know, proudly like this, loud and juicy, you know, wonderful. She comes up to me and she says, you want to know how I do it? What's a dad going to say? No? Well, of course, show me how you do this armpit farting, the technique. Says, well, you take your right hand like this, and you slide it up under your shirt to your left armpit. Oh, but you can't keep it straight. You got to kind of curve your hand like this to let the air out so you get those big, juicy farts like this. That's wonderful. I'm so proud of you that you've done so much research into armpit farting. That's great. Proud moment. She was home a lot with colds, you know. A lot of kids have colds, so she was home sick this one day, and I thought, well, I'll give her a hot bath. That'll loosen things up, you know, get some of the gunk out there. So I get the bath water going. She hops in. I go back downstairs and clean up in the kitchen or something, and a few minutes go by, and she says, Dad, can you come up here, please? Dad! Whoa, something must be wrong, son. Running up the stairs. What is it? You okay? Dad, I got to tell you something. What is it? Did you know that when Albert Einstein was just a kid, he made his parents read to him from the dictionary? No, I didn't know that. That's great. Thanks for dragging me up here to tell me that. That's wonderful. So I drive my daughter to school in the mornings, and our routine is we go out to the garage, and I get in the front seat, and she gets in the back. So there's one day we go out there, and she's just standing there, not moving. I said, what's up? What's going on? She said, a gentleman always opens the door for a lady. Oh, really? Where'd you learn that from? From watching SpongeBob. So there is some value to watching cartoons. You can learn manners from watching cartoons. So we had an appointment to get to, and she's upstairs brushing her hair, you know, and I said, come on, honey, we got to get going. We're running a little bit late for this appointment. She says, Dad, don't rush me. Ladies do not like to be rushed. And then she added, keep that in mind when you get a new wife someday. Oh, that's no problem, right? Just get a new wife, head on down to the wife store, pick out a new one. Shouldn't be any problem. Actually, it is a problem. There's this little thing called dating that you have to deal with to get there. Those are a few pictures from my online profile. So I did online dating, and so I went on a couple of dates here and there. And I went with this one lady, and we went to this restaurant. And is it just my imagination, or have restaurants and bars gotten a lot louder in recent years? Maybe I'm just getting old. But anyway, so we go to this restaurant, and it's loud. We get seated at this table, and I have to like shout across the table to be heard. And she insists upon hearing my life story. So I'm like, my wife died. My daughter was 28 days old. I felt like jumping off a bridge. I'm in therapy. So that's how that date went. Thank you very much for the applause on table number 3 right there. I must have gotten hacked. My online presence must have gotten hacked somehow, because after a few months, I started getting all these letters from these women in Russia. I don't know how it happened. I'm a big hit. Do you mind if I read a couple to you? I saved a few of them. Okay, how much time we got? Okay, we're good, I think. Oh yeah, all right, here we go. Okay, so yeah, these are actual letters from Russian women, apparently. Let's see. Okay, I brought my glasses. I might as well whip those out, right? This one, the subject line reads, "Let's talk more, my bunny." This is from, she says, "Hello, my name is Tanya. I am a lonely Russian woman from Ulyanovsk. I hope you will be interested in my letter or in my structure and agency. I have decided to write to you really light to me. I think more about my appearance will tell you my photos. Bye for now. I hope its letter will not without your reply." So that's from Tanya. Okay, here's another one. This is from Olga. She says, "Hello, my new friend. This is Olga. I think my email for you is joy, and I hope it is a happiness. I think you will have a question about how I could write to you. I used a services of dating agency. As I said to you before, my name is Olga, and I am absolutely single woman. Maybe learning more about each other, we can have serious relations. I want to search my love. I want to have sincere relations. It is a little about myself. I think it was interesting for you. I will be waiting your answer. Your new friend, Olga." And finally, this one from Anastasia. "Hi, this is Anastasia. I think that you are joy, having received from me the letter a little. Whether I think that you is nothing, I write to you, and I only want to ask you, really, you, the single man who wants to find the female? I as want to construct the relations with the true and fair person. I only want to tell that if you are more senior me, you shouldn't be afraid of the age, because then the person is more adult, that it more cleverly and much more seriously to concern search to the significant other." I actually understood what she was writing here. Your new friend, Anastasia. So that's how my online dating went there with the Russian ladies. So we have now reached the point in our household. It's like a destination. It's like a new town that we've arrived at. And I like to call this new town Pubertyville. As you can see, my daughter's struggling with a little facial hair there in Pubertyville. It's like a train stop. Toot, toot. Pubertyville coming up. Toot, toot. Pimples. Toot, toot. Braces. Toot, toot. And preteen attitude. Toot, toot. The best part about living in Pubertyville is that you get to hear all that wonderful music that 12-year-old girls are into these days, okay? So when she hops into the car, she immediately commands me to switch to her station. So I get to hear all those songs on the hour over and over and over and over again. It's wonderful. And I'll tell you, you guys haven't lived until you've been zipping down the freeway at about 70 miles an hour with 3 12-year-old girls in the back seat, singing at the top of their lungs the Taylor Swift song, Wildest Dreams. Say you'll remember me, standing in a nice dress, staring at the sunset, babe. Red lips and rosy cheeks, say you'll see me again, even if it's just in your Wildest dreams wildest dreams Thank you. Singing lessons really paid off, didn't they? Yeah. Carnegie before you know it. But no, it's at moments like that when you can totally sympathize with those parents out there who choose to drink and drive. You know, you totally get that. You totally get that. All right. Now I think it's time for that game show that is sweeping the nation, that everybody's talking about. You know what I'm talking about. It's Raising Rugrats from Potties to Pimples. Who wants to play? We're going to have some contestants come up here. So let's get a brave soul up here. The object of this game is we're going to test your knowledge of parenthood, okay? We're going to test your knowledge of parenthood, and I'll need that microphone over there, guys. That handheld microphone, if you don't mind, some sort of microphone. So let's get somebody up here. Anybody? Yeah, come on up here. We'll take about, 3, 4, 5, whatever. Here we go. We got a brave soul here. All right. We got this guy. This guy, he knows kids. He knows Rugrats. Come on up here. Yes, we'll put that right up there. Yeah, come on up here. Yep. Okay. So one at a time, though. We'll just have you guys wait there in the green room, as they say. Okay. All right. Would you?
Is your intention to embarrass us?
No, I'm not here to embarrass you guys. It's just simply here to test your knowledge. So come on over to the microphone. Okay. You want me to lower that a little bit?
That's fine.
Okay. All right. Or you can hold on to it. Whatever.
It's okay.
Whatever works for you.
I think you guys, can you
So,
answer me? Yeah.
first of all, what's your name?
Joy,
Joy? What a great name. Isn't that a great name? Where are you from, Joy?
originally from the Philippines, but
Yeah.
I grew up in California.
California? Okay. That's a large state. Where in California?
Thousand Oaks.
Thousand Oaks. I've been there. It's a beautiful town there, just west of L.A.
Yes.
Way out there, yeah. People think that you can't go west of LA.
north
you
of
end up,
LA.
Or north of LA,
Yeah,
right?
north of
and
LA.
west, whatever.
Yeah.
And do you have kids yourself?
Yes.
You do. How many? Kids?
Two daughters. One's 24 and a half, and one's 21 and a half.
Okay, so grandkids yet, or
Not yet,
Not
no.
yet. Okay,
No.
all right. So you know your way around parenting, kind of, right?
Yeah, I've been,
Yeah.
It's been over 2 decades.
Okay, great. So let's test your knowledge on parenthood, all right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, don't be nervous, take a deep breath, Joy. Okay. All right, now I'm going to throw out a term that a lot of parents have to deal with, and I want you to do your best to define this term, okay? All right, here we go. That term is orthodontist.
Oh.
Do your best to define, what is an orthodontist?
An orthodontist is a friendly person named Dr. Veal. That's our doctor.
Okay, Dr. Veal.
Orthodontist, yeah.
Okay, all right.
At least in our town. And he helps straighten teeth to have a brighter, a nice smile.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
orthodontist.
Pretty good, right? That's a pretty good definition, right?
He puts for when it was my kids, he used wires. Now they don't use wires.
They don't use wires
No,
anymore.
no.
Okay.
Not.
Rubber bands? Is that what
They
they
do.
use?
You still
Okay.
do some rubber bands.
All right, wonderful. All right, actually, Joy, orthodontist is really a descendant of a prehistoric creature called the Orthodontosaurus,
Oh, that's
which
a good one.
back millions of years ago ate mass quantities of green plants. And now today, this creature now eats mass quantities of green money. So that's
Oh, yeah, that's true.
All right.
That's true. I like that
Hey.
definition.
Thanks for playing, and here's a Tootsie Roll Pop
Thank
for you.
you.
Okay, all right. All right, yeah, you can go down this way, I guess, yep. All right, come on up here. Let's see what you know about parenting. All right, what's your name first?
Vera.
Vera. Okay, Vera, where are you from?
I'm in Tucson, Arizona.
Tucson, Arizona. So not much of a difference between Tucson and here as far as heat. It's hot. You're kind of used to the heat, right? Mm-hmm. Like the heat?
Yes, I do.
And what do you do out in Tucson?
I'm a nurse practitioner, family practice.
All right, so you use a lot of humor and nursing and helping your clients heal and stuff like that? Yeah. Kids?
5-year-old and 8-year-old girls.
Whoa, okay, so you're in the thick of it right now. Yeah, all right, okay. So let's test your knowledge to see how much you know about parenting, okay? Here we go. I'm going to throw out a term at you. You do your best to define it, okay? Here we go. The term is stuffed animals. Stuffed animals. What are stuffed animals?
They're usually fabric and or fluffy and filled with cotton or polyester.
Yep.
Sometimes very expensive, done
Yes.
at Build-A-Bear with internal hearts.
Oh, yes. Been there a
Yes.
few times. Yes. Okay. Good. Pretty good definition of stuffed animals, right? Actually, Vera, stuffed animals is a key part of my retirement plan. Since I've invested heavily in stuffed animals over the years, they're going to make great insulation when I'm forced to live in my car. So, stuffed animals.
Good, good.
All right, and thanks for playing Raising Rugrats. There's a sucker for you. Thanks, Vera. All right, sir, come on up here. Looks like you know a lot about what you're doing. First of all, what's your name?
Dutch.
Dutch. Oh, with a name like that, you gotta know stuff, right? What do you do for a living, Dutch?
I work for a government contractor and I teach yoga.
Whoa, that's fantastic. Okay, so kids?
An 11-year-old son.
11-year-old son, okay. That's enough to get you into the game, right? Okay. And did I ask where you're from?
Just outside Washington, D.C. in Oakton, Virginia.
Okay, beautiful. All right. Now, this is a little different here, Dutch, but I think you can handle it. This is kind of like a name that tune. Okay, so I'm going to have you identify this sound, and you tell me what it is. Okay, you ready?
Ready.
Listen carefully. Zoop, zoop. Zoop, zoop. Zoop, zoop. Can you name that sound?
If I were a betting man, I would say it's the sound of my son playing games on his iPad with his friends.
You are so close, Dutch. You are so close. Very good. Actually, that is the sound of a couple of 12-year-old girls texting back and forth at midnight. All right, Dutch.
Almost.
Thanks for playing. That was good. That was close enough. You still get a sucker. Thanks for playing. All right, Dutch. All right. How much time do we have? Are we getting close to the end here? I don't want to mess up the next Greg coming up here. Okay. Welcome to Raising Rugrats. I forgot the name of my own show. Okay, and your name, first of all, sir?
David,
David. Okay, where are you from?
New Jersey.
New Jersey. Okay. And what do you do there?
I work for a large energy company.
Large energy company. There's a lot of humor going on in energy companies.
Every day.
Yeah,
every
all
day.
the time.
A lot of tears.
energy, lots of humor. Let's see how much we can raise their gas bills. Okay, that's funny.
Yeah.
Okay,
And totally true.
wonderful. All right, kids?
4.
4 kids. Holy moly. All grown?
21, 19, 11, and 13.
Wow. Okay. Quite a. You're.
2 girls, 2 boys.
Yeah, man. Busy. Very busy.
Busy,
Yeah, 4 kids. Okay, so you should be able to handle this.
Sure.
All right, David. You ready?
Whenever.
Listen carefully to this term and do your best to define it for us. Okay, here's the term, diaper pail. Diaper pail, if you can define that for us.
The moldy thing that we forgot about 2 hours after we bought it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's pretty good. That's pretty close, right? Actually, David, diaper pail is the look that you get on your face after changing a messy diaper. You don't look just pale, you look diaper pale. So, thanks for playing along on the program. There's your sucker. All right, thank you. Hello there.
Hi there.
And you are
Katie.
Kay?
Katie. Katie
Kate-
with a Y, because why not? I
Oh,
forgot
Katie
my
with a
dad.
Y. Okay. Very good.
I'm a nurse, really. Cardiac rehab. I deal with people that have heart-related incidents or have breathing
Yeah,
issues.
and that's funny, isn't it? People with heart,
Sometimes.
yeah, with heart issues. That's a very funny profession. So you use a lot of humor in your,
Yes.
yeah?
Yes. First day they come in, and anytime you go to the doctor, what do? Make you weigh. I don't know about you, but I don't like being weighed. I tell them they have to stop when they get to their underwear, because God knows.
Yeah. Actually, you're standing on a giant scale right now. This is an industrial scale. We're weighing you right now. And that information is being relayed to the headquarters at AATH.
Hot dog,
So
after this
everybody will
week, I'm
know.
sure it's 10 pounds more.
What happened to your ankle there? foot?
I tell everybody it's my tap dancing injury. It ruined my career. It's
Yeah.
Long story.
You gotta
Altercation.
give up tap dancing.
Yeah. Well, I didn't start, but it was okay.
All right, so you're a nurse. You deal with a lot of stuff every
Yes.
day. Do you have kids?
Yes, I have a 19-year-old and a 21-year-old. And my first one was 1 pound and 12 ounces at birth.
Wow.
And I tell everybody he's my $1 million, and my second one's my 1 in a million. Ay, 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 ay.
Good. Okay. Well, you should really know what you're talking about here. So, are you ready?
If not, I'm going to improv this. Like I do
all right.
parenting.
You can improv it. It's fine. Okay, so here's the term. Listen carefully. See if you can define this for us. That term is spit up. Spit up. Define that.
Duck and roll.
Duck and roll?
Yeah, when they spit up those babies, they're like poltergeists.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, get out of the way. Right, spit up. Okay. Actually, Katie with a Y, spit up is what you do when your daughter, strapped in her car seat, announces that she knows how babies are made.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Spit your Pepsi across the windshield. Yeah, all right. Thanks for playing along. Thank you. All right. Well, that's our program for today, raising rugrats from potties to pimples. My talk is entitled A Onesie, a Tutu, and 3 Things I Learned as a Grieving Single Dad. So what are those 3 things I've learned? Well, number 1, I have learned that when you're in the midst of grief, the best thing you can do for yourself is immerse yourself in humor. I don't have to tell you guys that. Even if you don't feel like it, soak yourself in humor as much as you can. Surround yourself with funny people, kids, borrow some kids if you can. Research shows that just watching a funny movie can boost your immune system because when you're in grief, your immunity gets knocked down. So watch some funny movies. My daughter and I, we watch Laurel and Hardy. We watch Victor Borge videos. We watch the old Dick Van Dyke Show. We watch Coach, anything that makes us laugh, and it makes you feel good. So number 1, laughter, humor. Number 2 is kind of the opposite of what I just mentioned, and that is to cry. It's really important to cry. There is a professor at the University of Minnesota who says that our tears contain chemicals that are released from our body when we cry. And those chemicals are from all the stress you're under when you're grieving. And if those chemicals don't have a chance to get out, like if you just hold it in and try to be stoic, then all that junk stays in you and it's not good for your heart, it's not good for your brain. So it's good to get those tears out and cry. And the third thing I learned is that little kids can pull you through your darkest days. They really can. They take you out of your head. They drive you out of your mind too, but they take you out of your head so you're not thinking so much about your problems because their needs are immediate. They're sort of like dogs, that run around. They have to pee on everything to mark their territory. Little kids have to mark their territory by going to every playground on the planet. And we've been to a lot of them. I got to check out that swing, that slide, So anyway, surround yourself with kids. That's the third thing I learned. So that's my talk for today. I hope it's been somewhat educational, somewhat enlightening, and kind of entertaining as well. My name is Greg King. Thank you very much.